Hello Icon students. I'm doing this short recording so you can kind of get an overview of your senior project class. And so if you're watching this, I'm going to show you what the senior project is going to entail and how this is going to work. So let me scroll down a little bit. Alrighty, so if you look on the first part of this Welcome to Senior Project or the Senior Project Overview assignment, it kind of gives you the lowdown of what the senior project is. And I'm going to really quick discuss this. So a senior project is a long research paper that is accompanied with a slideshow and a presentation from you. And what we did to make this easy on you is we broke this up into 5 different pieces that you would turn in at 5 different times and then put back together into a long paper that you turn in as your final paper, and then you do your presentation. For most of you, you are taking senior project as part of your English and government class. Some of you guys are enrolled in a standalone senior project class if you didn't have English or government or something like that, and all of you have 2 teachers for senior project. I grade the government side of this, so when you're going to be writing about a government policy, hopefully one that you want changed, because that will produce the best paper. And I will be grading you on content to accuracy. Are you talking about the right things? Are you doing what you need to do to fulfill the requirements of your assignment? And then Miss Freeman will grade you on the research side of this. Are you following the correct MLA format? Are you citing things properly? Are you organizing your paper the way you need to? Because when you turn in a research paper, which they make you do in college fairly often too, they make you format it a certain way, and they will ding you if it's not formatted right. Okay, let me scroll down. So I don't know why I put 6. Oh, 6 component, just because there's the 6th element is the presentation. Let's see. By the way, even though we have loaded senior project as Unit 5 in government and Unit 5 in English, we have also assigned all of these right from the beginning, and we have due dates that you're going to have to follow, and you're going to be doing this out of sequence with the rest of your English and government work. Now, so here's your prompt. Identify a relevant, researchable, and contemporary public policy that is domestic or foreign in scope. Domestic policy may address local, state, or federal policy. International policy should connect U.S. to foreign policy. Research, analyze, and synthesize data related to the policy. Once you've picked a policy to research, you must write a technical paper, then complete a graphic presentation that must have the following 6 components. So, and actually the first 5 of these are the different papers that you're going to actually turn in, that we're going to make you turn in at specific due dates. So you're going to look up a certain government policy, you're going to research it. The first paper you turn in is your policy identification and explanation, where you're identifying what you're researching, what policy you're looking up, and explaining what this policy is. The next paper you turn in is your history background paper. Each of these papers are usually between 3 and 5 pages, double spaced, so that's kind of the length requirement for each of these, and we give you 2 or 3 weeks to do each of them as you turn in. We space this throughout the semester. You go through history background, current situation, and it explains differing viewpoints, policy recommendation. The last bit, graphical support, as you're turning in these papers, in at least one place, if not more, you have to have some kind of graph or table or graphical data, or even a political cartoon if you want, that supports your data. Not just a picture, but you need to have something that illustrates some aspect of your policy or your research that you're doing on it. So those are the pieces, and we're just going to go in chronological order until you get to the end. Okay, the unit has 7 lessons you must get through. You must submit at least 1 assignment per lesson, and I just went over that you're submitting this twice. We will answer, both your government and your English teacher will be in contact with you, answer any questions you have. Your first step to finishing this is to pick a policy to research, and you let your instructors know about it. You actually do that in this particular assignment. When you go down to the bottom, when you answer these 4 questions, and they don't, now this is not a formal paper, this is just basically a few sentences. Each question answer in a sentence, give me some good detail, but that is going to be the first step where you are identifying which policy you're going to be researching. And if you have some, if you're wondering, geez, I don't really know what I'm going to pick, here are some categories of public policies that you can look up, and you can just go to the internet and type in criminal justice U.S. By the way, you always want to do that U.S. because otherwise you can get Germany's criminal justice policy. U.S. criminal justice policy, you're going to get all kinds of stuff: drug, death penalty, culture and society, abortion, arts, civil rights, economic affairs, whatever, anything that you think that you want to research that can somehow fit in with something that our government has something to do with is going to be pretty relevant. And we'll let you know if there's problems with what you pick, so when you submit this. If you need to watch I've got a bunch of films called Frontline that I use in my government classes that kind of give you some up-to-date government policies and what's happening, some of the current issues. You can click there to watch those, and that will take you to them. Let's see. Course syllabus. Click this link to view and or download the senior project syllabus, and I want to just show you that in a second. Every component of the senior project I do a class on, and what I do is I put a link to get into the class, and then actually what I'm going to do, I'm making this recording right now that I'm putting onto YouTube. I'm going to embed this recording right there so you can see it right there, and I'll do it. Now if you beat me to the punch, you won't have a recording there, but if you don't, then it's going to be embedded and you'll be able to watch that. I want to talk a little bit about the senior project course syllabus. Actually, before I talk about that, no, I'll move forward. If you click this link, it brings you to the senior project syllabus. You can also download that as an attached file. I'm going to pull it up as a PDF because it looks best this way. This is important. There are due dates here. Because this is such a big deal and because it's not something you can do overnight, what we've done is we've spaced the senior project out throughout the semester. And we have due dates for each assignment. I also show you the dates that I do the live classes, so you kind of know when you're coming to these. And what we do, and this is important to pay attention to this because we don't normally do this in our system, if you miss a due date, we come in and we actually zero that out in your Odyssey Ware gradebook. So when you get to the senior project overview, if it got to past 2.7 and you miss that, we actually end up zeroing that out, and that's to remind you that you've missed this. And when you take the hit on your grade, hopefully that kind of gets you into, oh geez, I got to do that. And this is not something we do to be mean or to punish you. We do this because we know that if you wait till the last second on all this, it's just going to be too much, and then you've got to retake it and do it next semester, and it's a nightmare. So the most important thing to take from this syllabus, and again, you want to download this syllabus as soon as you get in here and save it somewhere. Download that and save it. The most important thing to remember about this is you need to get on this senior project right away. You can see that the very first thing is due next week. So you need to take care of that and start getting these things in so that you can be ready for when the time comes. I want to really briefly go through some of the individual pieces. So let's go into this one. Policy, ID, and explanation. You can see here, this is a little bit different view than you have. This is my teacher editor view. But you can see the different assignments here. Each one of these represents a paper. So your first paper is policy, ID, and explanation. The next one is policy, history, and background. Then current policy, differing viewpoints, policy recommendations. Then your final project and present. Final project is your large paper where you put all of these together. And then your presentation is this. Going back to this, Romeo and Juliet. Policy identification. What I do in this particular lesson is I give you the lowdown of what this is. This is kind of the 1 or 2 paragraph summary of what you're going to need to be doing in this particular paper. And then right underneath that, and they all look exactly the same. Right underneath that, I put the actual guidelines that you do in here. And this is, so when you do the policy ID paper guidelines, you're going to have to identify the policy name, the jurisdiction and enforcement, the policy summary, and policy intent. You're going to have to break that down in all of your paper and make sure that you go over all of that. That's the government guidelines. The English guidelines are listed here too. And you can see that it minimum of 2 to 3 pages, and it's pretty normal to get 3 or 4 pages. A lot of times what happened last semester is the longer we went on this, the longer the papers went, because people were starting to really get the hang of it. So these are just some tips that you can follow. And see, you can already see there's a link for the class. So there we are. And again, going back to the main papers, if you look over here, you can see a description of each paper, the shorter description. When you go into the lesson, it gives you a much more detailed description, and of course when you look also on the senior project course thing, it gives you a good description, or at least the name of that type of paper. So another thing I want to show you, here's the contact information for myself and Ms. Freeman right down here. It's on that policy, so the senior project course syllabus. Please keep in contact with us, and I will mail you this as well, this paper, so that you've got it, and we will warn you when we start to zero things out. Although I can't promise that I'm going to be absolutely consistent on warning. You know, hey, I'm about to zero something out. I'll probably do it the first time and just say from here on out, when the deadlines come, I come in and zero these things out, and that will happen. So anyway, if you have any questions after watching this video, I hope you found this informative. I hope that it helped you, and if you have any questions at all on this video, please, or on your senior project, please feel free to contact me. When we put this together, we broke this into pieces to make it easy on you guys. Everything that we did, we wanted to make this as streamlined and as easy as possible. We are on your side. We want you to graduate. We don't want this to be something that holds you up from graduating. This is a requirement, by the way, of Idaho state law. We as a school don't get to choose. No, we're not going to do senior project. I as a teacher can't choose. No, I'm not going to do senior project with my students. That decision is beyond me. So anyway, any questions at all, please keep in contact, and looking forward to starting to see what topics people are going to choose, and what the work is going to be. Looking forward to working with you this semester. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.